Have you ever watched a single domino fall and realized it's about to trigger an avalanche that changes everything you thought you knew about the upcoming season? That's exactly what's happening right now in the NBA. And if you're not paying attention, you're about to miss one of the most consequential chain reactions in recent memory. The Boston Celtics just lit the fuse with their stunning Jrue Holiday trade to Portland. But that's merely the opening act in what could become the most dramatic offseason reshuffling we've seen in years. And sitting right in the middle of this brewing storm, the Golden State Warriors. A franchise that's about to discover whether they can engineer one final championship run or watch their dynasty crumble in real time. The Boston bombshell that started it all. Let's cut through the noise and talk about what really happened when Shams Charania dropped that Monday night bombshell. The Celtics didn't just trade Jrue Holiday to Portland for Anthony Simons and 2 second-round picks. They sent shockwaves through the entire league structure. This wasn't about basketball fit. This was about cold, hard mathematics. Boston just shed over $100 million in guaranteed money over the next 3 years. That's not roster construction. That's financial desperation dressed up as strategic planning. But here's where it gets fascinating. Jayson Tatum's devastating torn Achilles during their playoff collapse against the Knicks didn't just end their season. It exposed the brutal reality of their salary cap situation. The Celtics are trapped in luxury tax hell, and Holiday's departure is just the beginning of what promises to be a fire sale. According to Charania's follow-up reporting, Boston remains engaged in trade talks surrounding multiple key players on the roster. Translation: the Celtics are about to become the NBA's premier bargain basement, and smart front offices are already circling like sharks. Why Golden State should be salivating right now. Anthony Slater from The Athletic wasn't speaking in code when he told the Warriors Plus Minus podcast that Boston is a team I'm monitoring, particularly with the Warriors. He was revealing Golden State's blueprint for salvaging their championship window. Think about the Warriors' current predicament. Stephen Curry is 37 years old. Draymond Green isn't getting younger. Jimmy Butler's arrival has created immediate title expectations, but their roster still has glaring holes that could derail everything. The Celtics' financial distress creates a perfect storm for Golden State. When a championship-caliber team starts selling off all-star talent to cut payroll, that's when contenders pounce. And make no mistake, the Warriors are about to pounce hard. The two names that could change everything. Forget the surface-level analysis. The real prize isn't Jrue Holiday, who might still get rerouted from Portland anyway. The players Golden State should be laser-focused on are Derrick White and Kristaps Porzingis, two completely different players who could solve completely different problems. Derrick White represents the defensive intensity this Warriors team desperately needs. His 4-year, $118 million extension hasn't even kicked in yet, but Boston's salary cap crisis might force them to move him anyway. For Golden State, White would provide the perimeter defense and playmaking that could elevate their championship ceiling immediately. But here's the more intriguing possibility: Kristaps Porziņģis. Yes, the injury-prone Latvian center who's played 65 games just once in the last decade. Yes, the same player who's about to enter the final year of his $30.7 million deal. And yes, the exact type of high-risk, high-reward move that could either complete Golden State's championship puzzle or blow up in their faces spectacularly. The Porziņģis gamble, championship or catastrophe. Let's be brutally honest about what Porziņģis represents. When healthy, he's a 7 feet, 3 inches unicorn who can stretch the floor, protect the rim, and create matchup nightmares for opposing teams. When injured, which is most of the time, he's a $30 million question mark sitting on the bench. For the Warriors, this decision comes down to one simple question. Are they willing to bet their championship window on Porzingis staying healthy for 4 crucial months? The answer should be a resounding yes, and here's why. Golden State center position is their Achilles heel. They have no legitimate presence in the paint. Their rebounding is inconsistent. Their rim protection is questionable. Porzingis, even at 70% capacity, solves all of those problems immediately. More importantly, his expiring contract means this is a one-year commitment. If it works, they can try to re-sign him on a team-friendly deal. If it doesn't, they move on without long-term financial consequences. That's the definition of a calculated risk worth taking. The Kuminga wrinkle that complicates everything, but wait. There's another storyline brewing that could impact everything we just discussed. Jonathan Kuminga's restricted free agency situation has suddenly become very, very interesting. According to Michael Scotto's latest reporting, the Warriors haven't ruled out the possibility of retaining Kuminga, but they're also exploring sign-and-trade possibilities with Chicago and Miami. This isn't just roster management, this is asset maximization at its finest. Here's the scenario that should terrify every Warriors fan. What if Golden State has to choose between keeping Kuminga and acquiring impact players from Boston? What if their salary cap situation forces them to pick one path or the other? The smart money says they explore moving Kuminga in a package that helps them land either White or Porzingis. A potential Nikola Vucevic for Kuminga swap with Chicago could free up the financial flexibility needed to make a serious run at Boston's available pieces. The championship math that changes everything. Let's zoom out and look at the bigger picture. The Warriors have maybe 2 more realistic championship windows with this core. They can't afford to waste either one, hoping their current roster magically develops the missing pieces they need. Boston's fire sale represents the kind of opportunity that defines championship teams, the ability to recognize when circumstances align perfectly and strike decisively. Golden State has the draft capital, the expiring contracts, and the organizational credibility to make serious offers for impact players. The question isn't whether they should be aggressive. The question is whether they're willing to be aggressive enough. The domino effect that's just beginning. Remember that single domino we talked about at the beginning? The Holiday trade isn't the end of the chaos, it's the catalyst for everything that comes next. Boston's salary dump is going to trigger moves across the league as teams scramble to take advantage of the market opportunities. Golden State needs to position themselves at the front of that line. They need to be the team that calls Boston first, offers the best packages, and closes deals before their competitors even realize what's happening. Because here's the uncomfortable truth. If the Warriors don't make meaningful moves this offseason, their championship window doesn't just close, it slams shut permanently. Curry isn't getting younger. The Western Conference isn't getting easier. And opportunities like Boston's current desperation don't come around very often. The bottom line, act now or regret forever. The NBA landscape is shifting beneath our feet in real time. The Celtics' financial crisis has created unprecedented opportunities for teams smart enough to capitalize. The Warriors have the assets, the motivation, and the championship pedigree to be players in this market. The only question is whether they'll have the courage to pull the trigger when the moment demands it. This is it, Warriors fans, the offseason that could define the next decade of your franchise. Are you ready to watch your team make the moves that matter, or are you prepared to wonder what could have been? Sound off in the comments with your trade predictions, and hit that like button if you think Golden State should go all in on this championship chase. The dominoes are falling, let's see where they land.